Imagine this. You're 75 years old, you've built your home, your land, your relationships, and your reputation. Life is stable, life is secure. You've worked hard for decades, and now you're settled. And then, one day, you hear a voice. Not the voice of a friend or a family member, but a voice unlike any you've ever known. The voice says, leave your country, your people, and your father's household and go to the land I will show you. No map, no plan, no clear destination. Just a promise. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. You will be a blessing. At 75 years old, Abraham, then called Abram, was asked to walk away from everything familiar. His city, his culture, his comfort, all for a journey into the unknown. And he said, yes. Today, we're diving into the call of Abraham, a story that teaches us what it truly means to step out of our comfort zones and trust a promise more than a plan. Abraham lived in Ur of the Chaldeans, one of the most advanced cities of its time. Imagine tall structures, bustling marketplaces, thriving trade routes. It was a place of wealth and opportunity. Abraham had land, livestock, and standing in his community. He had no obvious reason to leave, but God's call wasn't about reason, it was about purpose. The first lesson we learn from Abraham's story is this: faith begins where comfort ends. Abraham wasn't given certainty, he was given direction. God didn't hand him an itinerary, he simply said go, and Abraham went. That's the essence of faith, trusting the voice, not the map. Think about your own life for a moment. How often do we wait for every detail to be in place before we start? We want the plan, the timeline, the guarantee, but real growth rarely comes with a guarantee. It comes with a choice to move, even when you don't see the whole picture. The second lesson, obedience often feels irrational. Let's be real, Abraham's decision didn't make logical sense. Leaving behind wealth, stability, and community to follow a vague promise? His neighbors probably thought he'd lost his mind, and yet, throughout history, some of the most impactful moves have been the ones that didn't seem logical at the time. When you feel called to start something new, take a risk, or walk away from what's holding you back, you'll often face confusion, not just from others, but from within yourself. That's where obedience comes in. It's choosing to follow the call, even when the road ahead is unclear. Third lesson, comfort zones shrink calling. If Abraham had stayed in Ur, he might have remained a rich, respected man, but he would never have been the father of nations. He would have lived and died within the walls of comfort, never stepping into the identity God had for him. Comfort feels good, but it can keep us small. It convinces us that good enough is enough, but good enough is rarely where transformation happens. Maybe your Ur is a job you've outgrown. Maybe it's a routine that keeps you busy, but not fulfilled. Maybe it's fear disguised as wisdom. Abraham's story reminds us that the biggest blessings are often on the other side of a risk. The fourth lesson, God's promises require participation. Notice the pattern in God's words. Go, and I will show. The blessing wasn't instant. It was conditional on Abraham's willingness to move. The promise unfolded after the step of faith, not before. This is the part we often miss. Faith is active. It's not waiting on the sidelines for perfect timing. It's stepping forward while the details are still blurry, trusting that clarity will come along the way. And here's something important. Abraham's journey wasn't perfect. He had moments of doubt. He faced famine. He made mistakes. But the direction remained the same, forward. Faith doesn't mean never questioning or struggling. It means you keep moving toward the call, even through the uncertainty. So what does this mean for us today? We all have our version of Ur, that place of familiarity where we feel in control. It could be a career you've mastered, a social circle you're comfortable in, or even a mindset that's kept you from dreaming bigger. And we all have moments when we sense a nudge, something telling us to take a step that scares us, to leave behind the known for the unknown. The call could be to start a business, move to a new city, change your lifestyle, or pursue a cause bigger than yourself. The question is, are you willing to leave what's safe for what's sacred? Can you trust a promise more than a plan? Will you move before you see the destination? Abraham's story is not about geography, it's about identity. It's about becoming who you were made to be, even when the path is unclear. His faith didn't just change his life, it shaped the future of nations. And here's the thing, saying yes to that kind of call doesn't mean life gets easier. In fact, it often gets harder before it gets better, but it will always be worth it because you're walking toward purpose, not just comfort. Maybe your first step is small, making a phone call, filling out an application, having a hard conversation. Or maybe it's huge, quitting your job, relocating, starting over completely. Whatever it is, the principle is the same. You don't need the whole map, just the courage courage to take the first step. Hebrews 11:8 says, "By faith, Abraham, you went out, not knowing where he was going." That's not just a description of Abraham's journey, it's an invitation for ours. So here's the question I'll leave you with. What's your What's the comfort zone you've been holding on to? And what's the step you've been too afraid to take? Maybe today's the day you decide to move. Not because you see the whole path, but because you hear the call. If Abraham could say yes at 75, then age, timing, and circumstances are no excuse for us. The life you're meant to live, the person you're meant to become, might be waiting on the other side of a single step of faith. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button so it reaches more people who need this encouragement. Leave a comment and share the step you feel called to take. And if you want more inspiring stories like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. You don't have to see the whole path, you just have to take the first step.